As the country continues to prepare for an active hurricane season, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has issued a charge to the Jamaica Public Service to ensure its network is ready. He was speaking at the National Disaster Risk Management Council meeting today. Kalisha Williams reports.
Well, Barbara became the first hurricane of the Eastern Pacific season early yesterday, but it's short-lived, moved into cooler water, and it's continuing on that track. So now it's back down to a tropical storm. There are no tropical alerts out for the Mexican coastline as the system is moving and staying out to sea. So good news there. But of course, dangerous surf always an issue. That video from Acapulco, those were the waves from Alvin, which was a weaker system than Barbara. So, you know, just always good to keep in mind, you don't have to have a landfall and direct impacts to struggle with things like rip currents and also large waves.
And it's true, and it takes a while for some of those waves and rip currents to make it to the coast. So while you see it well offshore and it's moving away from you, remember it's all that energy, kind of like a ripple in a bathtub or a lake, and those waves get to you eventually. So it's going to take some time and be with you for some time. You see those two areas there, Barbara and Cosme, and then what could be Delilah just to the area just south and in an area that's pretty favorable where we could see some development. And it's amazing how it's been 1, 2, 3. In fact, usually our second named storm is June 24th. And our third is July 3rd, but we're pretty much ahead of schedule here. Definitely
ahead of schedule. Looking at satellite, you can tell that Cosme, which is the one outside of the circle, looking better than Barbara in the circle. The stats for Barbara, 60-mile-per-hour winds. It continues off towards the north and west. So it's now officially into cooler water. That's why you're seeing the forecast fall apart. In fact, by Wednesday morning, this is no longer a tropical entity because it is over cooler water. It's going to lose all of that oomph.
Meanwhile, Cosme
has a little bit of pocket of warm water. You know, that's why it looks better on satellite this morning. But just like Barbara, it will move out of that pocket of warm water. Right now, the winds are at 70 miles per hour.
It's so close.
Does it become the second hurricane? It's possible.
It's so close. And it has that little pocket to get there before it weakens. There is a slight chance that could happen.
It would have to happen in the next 6 hours. Yeah. After that, by lunchtime, you lose that opportunity. Cosme will have the same, you know, flounders, Barbara and Alvin. Our water temperatures are really buffering us, which is great news. Here's the 70% chance over the next 7 days of Delilah. So again, looking very favorable for our fourth name system. Delilah is the next name on the list. But just like Alvin, Barbara, Cosme, Delilah would stay off of the Mexican coastline. The overall steering current that we have set up in the atmosphere doesn't really involve a direct landfall. So good news there. There's the stat that Craig was just talking about. Today is the average first day of our name system, and we could have our fourth one happen today. Go figure. There's a look at the East Pac trajectory, kind of an even keel season that takes us all the way through the beginning of November.
This is June, and we see some hurricane out there. We see some hurricane out there, you know. Yeah, man. Some are shift go to Mexico way, some are shift go above way, and some are straight to way. Yeah, it look like the one with the one name again. Andy. Brett it name, yeah. B-R-E-T, Brett. It's a head towards this area, so we might get some rain and thing. What a thing. Birthday, 16th of June. Very important man in the Rastafari community. That is the man who tell us we must deal with King Charles. But we have our own king, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Leonard Howell become one of the first man to really point us, Rastafari, to Haile Selassie. And now we see it has flourished into children after children after children, generation after generation. Whether you're poor or you're rich, whether you're educated or uneducated, we see a whole heap of one gravitate towards Rastafari. Rastafari, that cultural movement, revolutionary movement that stand against white supremacy and oppression and colonialism. That is what Leonard Howell preach against white supremacy and colonialism. And we want to say that is what we stand for. Tell you right up front, I'm not one of them religious Rasta. You know, see, we are dealing with liberation. Liberation is a cause until the philosophy that all one way superior and the other inferior. What is the sound? What is it? Philosophy that all one race superior and the other inferior. We hear Bob Marley sing about it, we hear it kind of regurgitate. Mostly that the Rastafari community. But Haile Selassie said that philosophy that all one race superior and the other inferior is racism, white supremacy. And them go down the line and say, until that day we Africans will fight if it is necessary. Because we are confident in the victory of good over evil. So that is what we're really fighting against when we say Rastafari. That philosophy that say African people is inferior and Europeans are superior. We don't stand for that in the mindset of Rastafari. So that is what me I say. Yeah, that is what me I say. Me not one of the religious one them. You understand? We start out reading and comprehending enough things, including the Bible. But we know hold on upon it like say is the Savior. And our Savior, it shows certain things and we accept certain things and dash with the other things. But we are holding upon Emperor Haile Selassie the first, and that we are holding upon. Yes, serious thing. Emperor Haile Selassie the first. We contend that all that came in between the colonialist time until now has helped to degrade African people. It helped to bring down African people ability to see themselves as part of history. Because them tell us our history, they make us feel like our history started as slavery. But we, the Rastafari community, declare that we now accept that because we come to understand and know that our history go beyond even Solomon and Sheba, according to what Haile Selassie say, his dynasty go beyond Solomon and Sheba. And we declare that also. Take a break and come forward. That's the earth because of some people in Jamaica. This little island, that man from Ethiopia, thousands of miles away from Jamaica. And we echo that name and it go cross the islands and cross the continents, thousands of miles away. And we're still there. Still there. So we know, say, culture is a very potent and powerful thing. Because no matter what you do or say, everything comes from a culture. Yes. When you go to school or go to university, them teach a whole heap of disciplines, sociology, theology. Where the ideologies they with them have, anthropology. All of them have them genesis in a culture. And when you take away the people's culture, They are like wandering sheep, going here and there and don't know where, until we find forward that inner self that them beat and whip out away, that them kill out away, until we resurrect that self and find our Africanness. We can go and jump up in all of the shoes them and the shirt them and the pants them where the same white people give or sell with for wear, where them get making a China cheap and come back come sell it, and we all proud of it and tell we friend how we have on this kind of shoes and that the kind of shoes. None of them come from out of your motherland. None of them. They make money off of it more than any other group of people. The amount of money that black people spend on cosmetics and clothes in America is a bigger GDP than all of the Caribbean islands them put together. All of them. And none of the things them we buy, most of the things them, is not something that we need. We don't need it. African people in a serious state of unconsciousness, or what I call memory loss. Memory loss. We need to gather back ourselves, man. Gather back ourselves. Too much of them are little of we as it relates to what we do. And most of the things them we are do now help to come out of the madness where we brains in and we find ourselves in. We may come out of certain things because we go to school, but we go get education, we never get knowledge. We get education and indoctrination. Most of the school them, that is what them do, them indoctrinate we. And where the school now indoctrinate we in the church, indoctrinate in it. And we still have no knowledge of self. And that is the biggest part of our problem now. We need to return to self. That is what we need to do, return to self. Very important that we understand that. Because if we don't understand that, we're in a big, big problem. Junior Biles tribute concert at the Louis Bennett Garden Theatre this Saturday. Louis Bennett Garden Theatre has the same compound for Ronnie Williams. We want you to know that that is happening. Junior Biles tribute concert. I will be there, so as many other artists will be there, pay them tribute to a great artist. Yes. Them call one of them artists, guys, where them call it, him never get him due and him award and reward when him alive. Great songs him sing. And we also, I never tell you, the 14th of June, this is this Saturday. This Saturday that going to take place. Why you remember that? Here we go. America is on its down. When I say down, I mean that, you know, you have superpowers over the ages. Yeah, you have superpowers over the ages. Europeans may talk about. You will have Greece. Some people go as far back as Persia or Iran. but we all start at Greece. Nobody hears about Greece anymore rather than tourism business. Everybody wants to go to Greece for tourist attraction, for the attraction in Greece, the place itself. And then you did have Rome. Rome was the one that was more, known as a world power even more than Greece. If you know, Greece still have like Alexander the Greek and a whole heap of so-called philosophers who studied in Africa, even in Egypt, like Pythagoras. And then you have Rome, as we say. Rome become a superpower, the empire of empires. But then Rome fall. We hear about the fall of the Roman Empire. There's a book named Fall of the Roman Empire. There's audio books that you can listen to about the fall of the Roman Empire if you're interested. And then you have England, Great Britain, one of the powers that colonize more than most of the ones them outside of them country than most of the ones them who did come before them. Colonization and also slavery. England devastate a lot of countries. We could talk about the Caribbean, Jamaica. We could talk about India, where you have India's India, now you have India and Pakistan, which is the same people them. But as we says, Europe, which is England, cause that problem. And when I talk about some of the little island them in a different places, you know, ironically, we said last week, Africans never left Africa and go in our next country and kill the people them and take where them left and carry go back in Africa, go turn them in a slave. Nowhere in our history, Africans go kill people outside Africa and take them and carry them go Africa, go turn slave. Should build up the place. Yet still, we is the one that feel the brunt of these Europeans. We are talking about the Portuguese. Yes, the Portuguese, one of the first group of Europeans to take Africans and carry go to Europe. The Portuguese. That is where Christopher Columbus was a sailor on the Portuguese ships them. As you know, Christopher Columbus come from a place named Genoa in Italy. And he was a sailor upon the Portuguese ships them a sail to and fro in Africa. And then them end up in Spain and become what them now want call the discoverer of the new world. That world was here long thousands of years before Christopher Columbus. But he was called the founder of the new world. When he was last, it's really last in the last. When him land in Hispaniola, I never know where him there. Never know where him there until he start looking at some book. Him think of India, because India had a plan for reach and him never reach there. Never reach there. India. With all them criminal activities. Him land for Hispaniola and start to do things where the people them never see nobody do. So Europe is the one that creates such havoc and contentions in Africa. Europe, to be precise, England. But then you have the French, you have the Germans, you have the Spaniards. So much of these countries, you have Italy. So much of these countries left for them country and go in other people country and almost wipe them out, the natives. Look what them do and go, look what the Irishman them do when them reach in America. And them go see Native Americans on Turtle Island. That is what them call it, Turtle Island, not America. Americus was the man who got there again, another European. Them call it Turtle Island. And them go see them, almost wipe out the native them, take away them land, live on the land as squatters, and then them go to Africa, go take out people out of Africa, carry upon the land to make them work. And then them say, we are the savage. We are the savage. And they write that down in a book, these savages, both the Native Americans and the black people, them called savages. And at them go kill all the people them and take away them land. And at them go to Africa, go kill all the people them and draw them out of Africa and carry them go to America and this part of the world. And then you hear say, these people savage. You know, them have a culture that is ungodly. Boy, you can't believe that. The people who take away people land, murder the people them, kill off the animal them tell you say, are the people them who them capture, are the savages them. We African people supposed to be savage. We have no brains to comprehend simple matters. Like them I tell. Because we did have build things when them did live in a cave. We did have build things in Africa when them did live in a cave. And we take the simplest things them and build out of them. That now we say modern man can come now and amplify it into another level. You take one thing and carry it to the next level. But them say we are the savages them. Them go to Africa and say, a whole heap will never have no clothes because that wasn't a part of the thing. And them say, oh my God, these people, savages, they don't even have on wear clothes. And they're women. I mean, terrible things. Terrible things. And them still do it. But more psychological. Them carry you to a level, to a point where you have to resist or conform. It's either you resist or you conform. And if you conform, it's almost like you give up your humanity. Yeah, it's almost like you give up your humanity. If you resist, at least you find out, say, you have free yourself, even though sometimes we are not truly free because we're still confined into a community or a center where they still control. But a whole heap of we can think for ourselves in that control spaces that it don't grab you every time them say, hey, then we move. Like when them have them voting, where them set up this thing named democracy, them set up this thing named communism, them set up this thing named autocracy. All of these systems is created by white people to dominate other people. And we get caught in that democratic process where we don't feel, say, there's other things that is there. What were we doing in Africa before they came there? There were societies, there was family structure, there was education, knowledge passing from one generation to the next. Knowledge. Not indoctrination, knowledge. We had games and music. You know, we used to be closer to nature and life. Certain disease wasn't around us. Not say we never have no disease, but certain disease were done with life quick nowadays. Wasn't around us. We never fight over religion. You know, land was the basis of power, still is. And that is where most wars was fought over land. Up to this day, it's still a fight over land. And white people come Africa and thief the land, and we do have no land, and now we get caught in some box. So them put you in a box. It's a terrible thing. And we can't wake from that nightmare up to now. After 500 years, we don't wake from the nightmare. It's a terrible thing. Terrible, terrible thing.
They don't teach you this in school, but let me put you up on it. Before slavery, black people weren't just running around in huts. Nah, Africa was home to some of the most powerful empires, richest rulers, and greatest intellectual centers the world has ever seen. Let's talk about the real Africa before slavery. Africa wasn't just one place. It was a continent full of advanced civilizations. Let's start with the Mali Empire, home to Mansa Musa, the richest man in history. This brother was so wealthy that when he traveled to Egypt, he gave away so much gold that it crashed their entire economy for 10 years. And then we have the Songhai Empire, which controlled massive trade routes and had an organized government, tax systems, and military forces that rivaled Europe. And let's talk about Timbuktu, one of the greatest learning centers in the world. Before Europe even had universities on that level, Africans were studying mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy in massive libraries and schools. The University of Sankore in Timbuktu had tens of thousands of books. Some are the oldest books in the world. And let's be clear, Africa was a global trade powerhouse. West African kingdoms traded gold, ivory, spices, textiles, and even advanced weaponry with Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. African artisans were masters of bronze, gold, and terracotta, creating sculptures and jewelry that are now in museums around the world. And when it comes to technology, Africans were smelting iron, forging steel, and engineering irrigation systems before most parts of the world.
Yes, it's a serious thing. It's a serious, serious thing. That our history not start with slavery. And we have to keep repeating it. Because most of the time when you hear people talk about history of black people, them say, yes, well, we come here as slave. We never come here as no slave. We never come here as no slave. It's when we come here, them enslave us. Them enslave us, but we wasn't slave when we come here. We have our own little generation are going down there. As a matter of fact, somebody over them capture somebody over them, somebody prince them, somebody king them, somebody chief them, and bring on here. So we have to understand that, and we can't say too much time. We can't say too much time. We can't say, "Cho, we say that already." No. Because if you listen to the radio, if you have 5 different DJs for the day, you're going to hear the same tune from 3 of them same way. The same tune. You listen to one, and then maybe another one come, because most of we now listen to the next DJ will come before we. You see it? We come to our program. And sometimes you play a tune and the DJ before you did play it already, but you still listen to it. And maybe I don't know the night again, you hear another DJ play the same tune. And you listen to it said way. So we can't say them things here one time. You see, because the reality of this is that most of what we do, how we want to do it. When we play all them things there, nobody else now play it, how we want to play it. So even if we play it today, and 2 weeks time you hear it again, more time I never did hear it, but time I hear it the first time. And it sounds fresh to him, but maybe it not sound fresh to you. But then when you hear it again, you grasp it better. And you grasp it on another level. Because it make you go think. And then you say, boy, I love you, that thing there again, you know. I wonder if that thing did say. And then all of a sudden you just hear we play it again. Maybe 3 weeks after. So it's a serious thing. It's a serious thing. We are not a slave, we never come here as no slave. And that's what I want to tell black people. We never come here as no slave. When them put up on the boat, we was no slave. When them bring over here, so we was no slave. But when we reach us, so them enslave we. And I will probably fight for the slave, fight against it. It's not only white people, it's not only Wilberforce and the Quakers and all them people there, where them teach about in school, end slavery. We burn down plantation and make massa feel it. That him have to say, no, we are lose money. We can't afford this slavery thing anymore, we are lose money. We fight. Don't make nobody tell you no difference. We did have a society in Africa that all of the materials are now. We don't have them things in Africa a long time. We was builders, foundation. You the woman who tell you about Timbuktu and all them places. How about people know Timbuktu there? My granny used to say, I'm going to lick your fingers out of Timbuktu. My granny never know Timbuktu there. My granny never know Timbuktu there. But she at the first university, them find in Mali, Timbuktu. Almost time you go hear that at school. You don't hear that at school. Them not teach that at school. Now tell you about Harvard University. I would ask that at a university because a big university that where Trump no fight against. Trump a fight against Harvard University now, but we have to know say we did have university in Africa. Then I had Pythagoras now. I know most of you know about Pythagoras theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I Egypt the man every day I study. For years, 20 years him study. And then him go back and them go like say him create the theory. We really don't know it already. They don't think we build the pyramid. Or I think the Kemetic people them build pyramid. Them did have to know that mathematical theorem before to build that. To draw a stone from which part stone, they were big stone. Then put it upon wood and roll it and dry it. And when them fit it in, not even a piece of paper can go between it. The stone them that build the pyramid them. And when you go inside of them, it's a structure to behold. Where them bury them pharaohs and all these things. But them not tell you these things. They make you feel like Egypt they clear over some other place where you can't even figure out. And only probably don't have the time to look on all a map of the world. And when you hear me say Egypt, you say, I wish part of Egypt there again. And you just go in and we used to have atlas at school. You just go in your atlas and you look in there and you say, oh, what is it? Right, and I saw Egypt there. I think say Egypt is in Europe. Because I think so too. Hey, sir. How much I know the thing say Egypt in Europe? Put up your hand. Look how much I want to put up on hand. I whole heap I want to put up on hand because I never know. Maybe I whole heap I never know that until I listen to this program at all. Yeah, because you hear about Egypt on the map, you hear about Egypt in the Bible. And most of the first connection with Africa are in the Bible. But guess what? We never know say in the Bible them place there. We never know say in Africa them place there. It's a serious thing. We never know that most of the places where we see in the Bible or read about in the Bible is Africa there. I mean, no say a whole heap of one. As soon as them start to listen to me, them realize, but rotted. That brother they don't mad like over that thing, you know. Because to the place you might talk about right there, Africa. What a thing. What a thing. We have to know Africa. Because Africa is the cradle of civilization. Is the foundation of man's first existence on the earth. Let me say, the first place that man appeared upon earth was in Africa. Al-Kabulan, the oldest name we have, Al-Kabulan. Ethiopia, land of the burnt faces. That is where the guys them eat when them go over there and say, south of the Sahara, them say black people, and them frightened, them can't believe the people look so. The sun burned them, which is true. It's the melanin in us. Them call we south of the Sahara people, Ethiopia. And we're still there after all of the problems, the tyranny and the slavery and all of them things there. We was able to come in at this time and all invent things too. Yeah, enough things we invent. Daily things that people use every day. Black people invent, and you don't know, says black people that invented. That is the thing. Because them not teaching them thing there. They're not teaching them thing there. We want to play this. We want to play this. Make us see if we can get it straight. And play it, okay.
Genius black kids who are changing the world. Most kids under 15 are busy playing video games or using social media. But what if we tell you there are black kids playing Mozart-level piano at age 11 without a single lesson, solving insane math equations before you can even talk, or inventing a cure for cancer at just 14 years old? But who are they? In this video, let's know about these ones and more. Number 7, Jude Kofi. At just 11 years old, Jude Kofi is already being called one of the greatest pianists in the world. But here's the crazy part. He never had a single lesson. Jude was born prematurely with a heart condition and later diagnosed with autism, but none of that stopped him. One day, he stumbled upon an old keyboard in his father's basement, and instead of just pressing random keys like most kids, he started playing actual music like a trained professional. His talent was so mind-blowing that Bill Magnuson, a piano expert, gifted him a $115,000 grand piano because he recognized Jude as a Mozart-level talent. Now this self-taught genius is playing on TV shows, inspiring millions, and proving that pure talent always finds a way to shine. Number 6, Devon Freitas. Most 2-year-olds are learning to count to 10, but Devon was already solving advanced math problems before he could even talk properly. When he appeared on America's Got Talent, he left the judges completely speechless. From simple calculations to multiplying huge numbers in seconds, he answered everything with ease. Even crazier, his first word wasn't mama or dada, it was 7. His parents noticed early on that he would cry when they changed the channel away from educational math videos. This little genius was born to calculate. Number 5, Stacy Frew. At just 7 years old, Stacy Frew wrote her first book without her parents even knowing, and she didn't stop there. By the age of 9, she started her own foundation to help kids in her home country, South Africa. And by 10, she launched her own TV channel. Now she's on the list of the most influential South Africans, rubbing shoulders with politicians and business moguls, most of whom have probably been working longer than she's been alive. Number 4, Herman Bekele. At just 14 years old, Herman Bekele may have done something that scientists have been struggling with for decades. He developed a cure for skin cancer. As a young boy in Ethiopia, he saw people working long hours under the hot sun, often suffering from sun damage. After moving to the U.S., he realized how big the problem of skin cancer was and decided to do something about it. Herman created a low-cost soap that can prevent and treat skin cancer, winning the 3M Young Scientist Challenge and earning the title of Time's 2024 Kid of the Year. Number 3, Esther Okade. Most 10-year-olds are learning long division, but Esther Okade was already taking university courses. This Nigerian-British math prodigy took and passed the UK's GCSE exams at age 6. Exams that students 10 years older than her struggle with. By 10 years old, she had enrolled in the Open University, where she is currently working on her degree in mathematics. And get this, Her next goal is to complete a PhD by age 14. Number 2, Cache Quest. At just 2 years old, Cache Quest became the youngest member of Mensa, the world's top IQ society. To put that in perspective, her IQ is 146, which is higher than the average adult genius. By 18 months, she was speaking in complete sentences, identifying all 50 U.S. states just by their shapes, and reciting the entire periodic table of elements. Number 1, Jeremiah Addo. Jeremiah Addo from Ghana has a mind like a computer. While most kids his age struggle to remember their own address, Jeremiah can name the capital city of almost every country on earth. By the age of 3, he had already memorized the entire Bible. Yes, from Genesis to Revelation. He can also multiply 2 or 3 digit numbers in seconds, leaving adults completely shocked at his abilities. Here's a quick question. Which of these black kids do you think is the most intelligent and the future's brilliant mind, changing the world forever?
No, that's a serious thing, because that youth whom just mentioned, knowing can name all the countries them in the world, I actually have the youth I name the country them, you know, but guess what? I think I'm going to find it before the program done tonight, yes. Because it's a very important thing to know that this is not no make-up business. This is a real thing from real people in Africa, youth in Africa. And not joke business this. Because you never hear them, never tell you this. Because you see, if you ever play them things here in some little infant school or in some school and make them hear where African youth, black people, pick me, accomplish at them kind of age there. You know, so I'm going to play it again. Yeah, man, I'm going to play it again, man. But I mean, sometimes we forward music, you know, so we can't forward this too.
Kids who are changing the world. Most kids under 15 are busy playing video games or using social media. But what if we tell you there are black kids playing Mozart-level piano at age 11 without a single lesson, solving insane math equations before you can even talk, or inventing a cure for cancer at just 14 years old? But who are they? In this video, let's know about these ones and more. Number 7, Jude Kofi. At just 11 years old, Jude Kofi is already being called one of the greatest pianists in the world. But here's the crazy part. He never had a single lesson. Jude was born prematurely with a heart condition and later diagnosed with autism, but none of that stopped him. One day, he stumbled upon an old keyboard in his father's basement, and instead of just pressing random keys like most kids, he started playing actual music like a trained professional. His talent was so mind-blowing that Bill Magnuson, a piano expert, gifted him a $115,000 grand piano because he recognized Jude as a Mozart-level talent. Now this self-taught genius is playing on TV shows, inspiring millions, and proving that pure talent always finds a way to shine. Number 6, Devon Freitas. Most 2-year-olds are learning to count to 10, but Devon was already solving advanced math problems before he could even talk properly. When he appeared on America's Got Talent, he left the judges completely speechless. From simple calculations to multiplying huge numbers in seconds, he answered everything with ease. Even crazier, his first word wasn't mama or dada, it was 7. His parents noticed early on that he would cry when they changed the channel away from educational math videos. This little genius was born to calculate. Number 5, Stacy Frew. At just 7 years old, Stacy Frew wrote her first book without her parents even knowing, and she didn't stop there. By the age of 9, she started her own foundation to help kids in her home country, South Africa. And by 10, she launched her own TV channel. Now she's on the list of the most influential South Africans, rubbing shoulders with politicians and business moguls, most of whom have probably been working longer than she's been alive. Number 4, Herman Bekele. At just 14 years old, Herman Bekele may have done something that scientists have been struggling with for decades. He developed a cure for skin cancer. As a young boy in Ethiopia, he saw people working long hours under the hot sun, often suffering from sun damage. After moving to the U.S., he realized how big the problem of skin cancer was and decided to do something about it. Herman created a low-cost soap that can prevent and treat skin cancer, winning the 3M Young Scientist Challenge and earning the title title of Time's 2024 Kid of the Year. Number 3, Esther Okade. Most 10-year-olds are learning long division, but Esther Okade was already taking university courses. This Nigerian-British math prodigy took and passed the UK's GCSE exams at age 6. Exams that students 10 years older than her struggle with. By 10 years old, she had enrolled in the Open University, where she is currently working on her degree in mathematics. And get this, her next goal is to complete a PhD by age 14. Number 2, Cache Quest. At just 2 years old, Cache Quest became the youngest member of Mensa, the world's top IQ society. To put that in perspective, her IQ is 146, which is higher than the average adult genius. By 18 months, she was speaking in complete sentences, identifying all 50 U.S. states just by their shapes, and reciting the entire periodic table of elements. Number 1, Jeremiah Addo. Jeremiah Addo from Ghana has a mind like a computer. While most kids his age struggle to remember their own address, Jeremiah can name the capital city of almost every country on earth. By the age of 3, he had already memorized the entire Bible. Yes, from Genesis to Revelation. He can also multiply 2 or 3 digit numbers in seconds, leaving adults completely shocked at his abilities. Here's a quick question. Which of these black kids do you think is the most intelligent and the future's brilliant mind, changing the world forever?
I forget the two where they play before they had them, you know. A long time, you know, you hear a burning spear there. So don't forget. All right, sir. I hear African history, African culture, how African dress, and where them really see as them spiritual awakening.
Pastor Willie Lynch. Full purpose. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and I make them bigger. For hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years. Male. And you must use the male against the female. And depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust.
People say never exist. But people say it was in Barbados as part of that colonialist people who grab we as kings and queens and bring we on and turn we and enslave we. We didn't see it now.
This research organizations in the black community documenting the levels of national oppression and economic exploitation. Its first report was released back in 1976, and it was titled Locked Out, A Message to the Next President, documenting the political and economic struggles that blacks faced at the hands of those who were in the White House and on Wall Street. RT correspondent Ashley Banks gives us insight into what's revealed in the 2016 report.
African Americans remain oppressed and locked out in the U.S. Now, that's according to the National Urban League's recent findings in its annual report on the state of Black America. In 1976, the League released Locked Out, Education, Jobs, and Justice, a message to the next president, which provided evidence to suggest African Americans remain oppressed in the U.S. Now, here we are 40 years later, and despite the fact the first African American president was elected in 2008 and again in 2012, the fundamental problems facing the black population are still unresolved, 151 years after slavery was abolished. The League says overall, African Americans do not have full equality, but only 72% of what whites possess. According to the report, there hasn't been much progress towards economic equality. The black unemployment rate is still twice the rate for whites. Compared to 40 years ago, the income gap has remained unchanged, resting at 60%, and the home ownership rate gap has grown 6%, now standing at 59%. Now, on the other hand, there has been slow progress in reducing the black poverty rate. According to the most recent estimates, the black poverty rate is now 2.4% lower than in 1976. And the League also stated over 1/4 of the African American population remains poverty stricken. The worst state in the U.S. for African American unemployment is Illinois. More specifically, in the city of Chicago, a lot of African Americans are faced with poverty, inequality, and joblessness, giving way to why crime is so high in the city. The Economic Policy Institute conducted a study during the first quarter of 2016. The unemployment rate among blacks living in Illinois was 14.1%. Now that's up from 13.1% during the fourth quarter of 2015, which was the nation's worst African-American unemployment rate. The league's report also provides data that takes a critical look at the lack of progress made during 2 terms of the Obama administration. In 2008 and 2012, African-Americans voted overwhelmingly for President Obama, securing his 2 terms in office. The league suggests no matter who is elected to the White House and Congress for 2017, the oppression and exploitation will not go away. In Washington, Ashley Banks, RT.
All of this is racism. But the new racism is to make it look like there is no racism. The new racism is to make it look like there is no racism. That's why Obama was made president. He said he was fighting for a change we can believe in. And that's exactly what you got. Michael Brown, a change you can believe in. Trayvon Martin, a change you can believe in. Worst unemployment rate for black folk in over 30 years, a change you can believe in. Highest dropout rate since the first Bush, a change you can believe in. Because you don't understand white supremacy. You thought voting for Obama meant a change in the American power structure's relationship with the black community. Are you crazy? A change you can believe in. And the saddest thing, what really bothers me about President Obama, he did nothing for black children this whole time he was in office. LGBTQ, gave them landmark registration laws. Gay folk got more progress in 5 years under Obama than black folk got in 500. Illegal immigrants, landmark legislation. Latino, landmark legislation. White women, Equal Pay Act. What did black folks get? Nothing. Just what you deserve. Nothing. Because you don't fall in love with politicians. Big mistake we made. I called it 8 years ago. When Obama get out of office, we're going to be worse off than when he went in because you fallen in love with a politician. That's ignorance. I hope we learned our lesson. You don't fall in love with elected officials. You come to agreements with elected officials, with money and voting power. That's what you do. You use them like they use you. But black folks, politically ignorant as we are, turned it into a religious thing. Voting for Obama became a religious movement. Pastors all across America talking about, yeah, God predicted this. God sent Obama. In the mosque, God sent Obama. I'm tired of it, quite honestly, because we keep letting white folk outthink us. We just keep on letting, they're going to do it again. They say you Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, you go floating again. Question is, when do we learn from it and start changing our political behavior? But first of all, you can't change your politics until you change your spending habits. Boom. As long as we remain conspicuous consumers, we will get nothing. Votes do not control money. Money controls votes. If you ain't got no money, you ain't going to get nothing done by the people in office. Pow. I don't care if their name is Obama, Bush, Hillary Clinton, or whoever else.
Continent with Mutabaruka. We are listening to...
That's not an accident. The way to keep the poor and middle class working hard is never teach them what the rich know. What the rich teach their kids about money, the poor and middle class do not. If you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Rich Dad's lesson number 1, the rich don't work for money. Don't you touch that stuff. If I pay you, you think like an employee. Your brain will change. If you learn never to work for money, you'll be a rich man. The people that are being screwed today are the poor and middle class because they work for money. You know, the banker, they're not working for money.
They have money working for them.
Yeah. Very big difference in mentality here. What is financial education? It's not get a job, work hard, save money, and invest in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. That's not it. The financial industry is two things: debt and taxes. Debt and taxes. And we still tell kids to go to school, get a job, work hard, save money, and get out of debt. Now, who tells them to do that? That's the most ridiculous thing there is.
The book starts and it says, lie number 1, saving money will make you rich.
Yeah, it never will. You know that.
We're all taught that as kids.
Yeah, because they can print it. Why would you save it and why would you work for it if they can print it faster than you can work for it? And number 2 is they keep dropping the interest rates on it. You know, Japan still has zero interest rate policy. And the Japanese are the biggest savers in the world. And I'm Japanese and 4th generation. They're not too bright.
Right.
Why do you keep saving when they're printing it? You know, and when I'm in Japan, that's what I mean by fear. They're so afraid because the Japanese, good culture, but they do as they're told.
Right. It's very conformist.
Very conformist. Very conformist. So they just do as they're told. And then they just save money, and their government, this guy Abenomics, is just printing trillions of it and buying ETFs with it, and they don't know what to do. They're afraid they might make a mistake. They're good little students in school. Go to school, get a job, don't make mistakes. So what happens to the average person in a financial crash, they don't know what to do. And right now, as you know, for the middle class of the world, we're in a crash. You know, the purchasing power of the yen, the euro, the rupiah, all going down. And people are working harder and harder and harder. And the central banks of the world are printing more money.
And so if someone's listening to us that's stuck in that poor middle class trap and they hear it's their fear that ultimately is keeping them from that, that's a hard thing to hear, Robert. But you're going to give them the information about what they can do if they can get out of that fear.
Well, every time I do a lot of speaking to the masses out there. You know, Lehman doesn't invite me in because we're gone, but I go, well, you know, it's so risky. What you're saying is risky. And I said, what I do isn't risky for me, but it's risky for you. And when somebody says, what is risk? You have to look in the mirror. Do you know what I mean? For me to fly in Vietnam, that was high risk. But the higher the risk, the more you have to study. You know that, I know that. So if you're not going to study, you're not going to practice and all that, then you should do what Wall Street tells you to do. Buy 401ks, mutual funds, ETFs and all that. But that's for their fake assets, because they only make Wall Street or the city of London rich. Just watch where the cash is flowing. Follow the money. The reason the rich don't work for money is number 1 expense is tax. See, there's 3 kinds of income: earned, portfolio, passive. So earned income is if I get a job, that's earned income. If I'm a doctor or a programmer, that's earned income because I'm working for it. If I buy, let's say, Apple for $10 and I sell it for $20, that's portfolio income, capital gains.
Yeah.
But passive income, which is cash flow, is never taxed. So it's not, and that's all these guys are screaming right now in America, tax the rich. I said, good luck. Because most of the guys complaining, they don't know there's 3 kinds of income. And the rich don't have jobs anyway. They have assets. And so the average schmo out there, poor guy, you know, sent the kid to school. They don't learn this. So that's why in Fake, as you were talking about it, there's a newspaper article about Jared Kushner. And he explains how the Trumps and the Kushners don't pay taxes and make millions of dollars. And the reporter couldn't understand him because they're not. Our schools will never teach you that 3 types of income.
And they judged him and say they're wrong and it's cheating. And we see that over and over again. Amazon not paying taxes. What do you say to people when they come up to you and say, Robert, it's not fair. It's not fair they're not paying taxes.
Well, there's always 3 sides to a coin, you know, heads, tails, and the edge. You know, so which side of the coin are you on? From my side, it's fair. But this is the difference. Everybody can do the same thing I do because the tax laws are for everybody. You know, we don't say, well, the tax laws are only for the rich. No, the tax laws are for everybody to use if you have the right financial education. And the reason I'm an advocate of financial education, without that education, you have to pay taxes. You see, very few people will buy what I do make $1 million and pay zero tax. That takes, and my rich dad taught me that playing Monopoly. That's how it started. 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. Or the McDonald's formula. I write about it there. McDonald's, Ray Kroc.
Yeah.
McDonald's is in the real estate business. So they sell hamburgers, but they buy real estate, so they pay no taxes. This guy Bezos, he's $16 billion. How much tax did he pay on that $16 billion? Zero.
And that's all legal. Anyone can do it.
Everybody can do it.
Most people lack the education.
Correct.
So Jared learned about money when he was a kid by watching his father, by watching these people invest in real estate, and said, wow, not only do you get to make the money, you get to keep the money. That's a big problem a lot of people don't understand. They, look how much money I made, but how much did you keep? Because that could be half.
What tax did you pay?
Right, what tax did you pay? And so you always say, this is the law. The law is true for every citizen. You can do it, but most people just don't do it. Sometimes, like you said, they don't have the education, because you need to have a plan if you're going to go do risky things.
Well, it's not risky. I mean, to me, what's risky is having a job and paying taxes.
Yeah.
And saving money because they're printing it. That's the worst thing of all. And that's why there's fake money, fake teachers. The teachers they don't know it.
Right.
And fake assets, because Wall Street or the City of London or Lehman Brothers or Goldman and all, they're not going to tell you this.
Yeah.
How are there billionaire bankers today? Aren't they supposed to be watching your money,
You said in here also, the greatest asset you have is your mind. What does that mean?
If you really want to be rich, take a class on real estate. Once you understand real estate is based on debt, learn how to use debt as money. So that once you learn how to use debt as money, you can never say, I can't afford it. See, because the banks will give you, so the banks, after the crash of 2008, the banks gave me $300 million tax-free to buy real estate that the idiots had lost. I hate this, and then they were idiots because the prices were so high. Why would you buy it at the top of a market? Don't you know that's going to crash? No. This is, that was the subprime, was the derivatives market, the MBSs and all that stuff. Had driven the price of real estate so high, and the rest of us were just waiting. And then when the whole thing came crashing down, all this real estate was now available, and they needed, the Fed and those guys in the Treasury needed guys like us to go in there. So Wall Street gave us hundreds of millions of dollars to mop up all that real estate these guys had lost. Now, it's fair because everybody could do it. So, when I asked the average guy, I said, why don't you use debt? They can't even get a loan because their scores, their FICO scores, they don't even have them here, are so bad. Right. So that's what's going on in the world today. It's fake money, fake teachers, fake assets. The school teachers will never tell you that because they don't know it. My poor dad never knew that. And they think the rich are crooks. The rich just play by different laws. The rules are the same, but you have to do what the government wants you to do. Never say, I can't afford it. Ask yourself, how can I? The reason I have so much money is because I don't say I can't do it. I just go, how can I do it? And I just go and do it. I make a lot of mistakes, but that's how I learn. How can I? It's just a matter of personal willpower, which is spiritual. Just saying, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yes, money. Yeah, the time is 12 o'clock.
The exercise trail.
Oh, yeah.
You notice the wire or the place where, for the China, I don't know, design also that tear down.
Pop down, yeah.
I mean, our gateway to a country or to a city in and out, I mean, I come go airport, regular motor.
But no, the Chinese then build it.
Yeah, the Chinese then build it. And I'm saying motor, that's our gateway.
Yeah.
And these politicians travel so often, and none of them not see it. They say like a pride. Really no motor.
As you say, no, you have
all the garden where we appear.
As you say, no, you have to fix, watch. As you say, it to fix.
But I say motor, I tell them guys are a real joke, and you want go over and look for the water there and see the amount of bottles, motor, plastic bottles. Your blood run cold.
I know the government problem that. Are the people them do that? Are the people them, the nasty
yeah,
people
Muta,
them.
but yeah, the nasty people them, but that's a rubber government and them tax we for mitigate that problem. The tax for gas tax, the tax for land tax.
All right, tell me
the
what them,
tax for tax
all right, tell them what them for do. Tell me what them for do.
No, well, obviously, the Maca tax them get the people them and pay them for clean it out, just like how you have a cash program.
You can't say the government to pay people to clean it. The government about that thing. What them for do is charge who are park up there and I do that. Because them know when them come there, when the people them come there. You know, you can't have a man stand up out there all the while and watch all nigga dutch out the place. Like you throw your garbage down at the garbage bin. Them no have people that watch you to see if you throw garbage at the garbage bin. You know, so the garbage bin to get thrown out.
And put
nothing on the people. Yeah, but
the minibus, I drive down and minibus and taxi and it's a book. The thing where you talk about motor, I'm a witness and say over and over the motor. Alright, I know he's a man, travel a lot. Motor ever, when last have been to airport, got to airport and come back from airport and look on the strip, the Palisade strip. When them do the exercise trail.
Oh yeah.
You notice the wire or the place where for the China I don't know design also that tear down
pop down, yeah.
I mean our gateway to a country or to a city in and out, you know. I'm now come go airports regular motor.
But no, the Chinese them build it.
Yeah, the Chinese them build it. And I'm saying motor that our gateway.
Yeah.
And these politicians travel so often, and none of them not see it. They say like a pride. Really no motor.
I just say no, to go fix
all the garden where we appear.
As you say, no, you go fix, watch. As you say, it go fix.
No, I say motor, I tell them guy a real joke, and you want go over and look for the water there and see the amount of bottles, motor, plastic bottles. Your blood run cold.
I know the government problem that. Are the people them do that? Are the people them the nasty people?
Yeah, motor, but the nasty people them, but that's a rubber government and them tax we for mitigate that problem. The tax for gas tax, the tax for land tax.
All right, tell me what them. All right, tell them what them for do. Tell me what them for do.
No, well, obviously. The Maca tax them get the people them and pay them for clean it out, just like how you have a cash program.
You can't say the government to pay people to clean it. The government about that thing. What them for do is charge who are park up there and I do that. Because them know when them come there, when the people them come there. You know, you can't have a man stand up out there all the while and watch all nigga dutch out the place. Like you throw your garbage down at the garbage bin. Them have people that watch you to see if you throw garbage at the garbage bin. You know, so the garbage bin to get thrown out.
And
put nothing on the people. Yeah, but
the minibus, I drive down the minibus and taxi and it's a book. The thing where you talk about motor, I'm a witness and say over and the styrofoam box just throw through the window.
So how you ever put that on a government? No, how you ever put that on a government?
Well, that's a true still.
You know, the people them that, you know, see, the police see that, and them show it outside, them should have drive down the coaster bus or the taxi and stop it and take out the person who do it and go make him go pick it up.
The motor, that generation was supposed to be more educated than we have better technology than different apart from them laziness. 3 times I witnessed it week before last motor, I forgot to mention it last week. Through the bus window and through the I mean, I said, really? Motor, if I pull a sweetie and put down my mama put the plastic in my pocket, motor.
Yeah, man, that's what for go, man.
No, bro. Alright, final motor.
Really, you never pass out some garbage bin yet and say more garbage round the garbage bin than in the
motor,
garbage.
Motor, I take a picture.
Yeah, because man, I take like my basketball player, you know. When Kara pass him to the garbage, man, he might feel like he might throw it up.
In a loop,
they miss and they take it up. They're dangerous, man.
And people are different, man.
Dangerous,
remember the days when me I got sentenced with a man with a motor. Them some man was the cleanest parish in Jamaica. We got man with when Cesar Charter and my stomach sick and you just want to know how them politicians get a bag of money and them supposed to have job description. It's like it was motor no sure say you're alright.
Well, them say things better. You're prime minister. Your prime minister say things better.
Me and TV, I read about the camera. Camera now. You can have camera now. You a US man them walk with camera. US police walk with camera. Them care. How fast on it now? I don't understand the argument about now. Everybody just. I don't know why I'm when I have a second term. You do 2 term already. Make somebody else go in there. Well,
time fees are the one will have the answer to the Jamaica problem.
No, that's no matter. If somebody is going there, I'm going to say, well, the rest of COVID money go and the money from the Jamaica National Service Corps, I can't go. But as I know, if PNP win, they might protect GLP. And GLP when they protect PNP, so no better bar, no better hearing. Him no come up because they might find out now where the money read or the money a juggler pass to crosses them motor, motor. Anyway, you have a particular station motor.
We have to take a break. Hold on.
You have a particular station. May I listen to it? When I listen to it, I have a ex-police burden where him listen to it, so I have to do a little protection team. Can go to a place I'm tuning to it, so I listen to him for the past 3 months now motor with, I think that person was some farmer minister of industrial name, something like that Mullins. Clyde Mullins.
Yeah.
Him run him also radio station. Now you have the Ministry of Health come on like probably twice a week and give advice. And motor, may I take note at a particular subject there. Every time the poor people call the Ministry of Health, Christoph tell him, say the hospital them from different parishes, not even one parish no motor, so you can't say I was one parish. So out of the 14, 13 parish are going good at the hospital. All of the 14 parishes the people call them motor. The MRI machine now work, all the machine, the ultrasound and scan machine now work, and the people them do not have the $100,000 to pay the private hospital or the private health care to do the test. I'm there one day say, so this thing is a scam. He never know about this yet and he will have his team check. I mean, I said, but you are the head and you're supposed to have an audit to know the important machinery people need to put in place with the tax money. And he never knows that this now work and he go and make him team check and he will get on top of it and leave a number. I mean, I say, them people are really want to win election motor. Really? 100,000. Where poor people get on the top of the scan. MRI and ultrasound motor. So, look for the sham now motor. The government hospital recommends go to motor help you to do the scan and you got to pay 100,000. You know, say, a percentage of that for you. When I ask in a motor, a percentage out of the 100,000 for to the recommendation. And I can't report poor people them way them, man. Really now, Minister of Health and Prime Minister, really know. 3 months, me I listen to it more than I take note. Everybody cause having problem with the machine them at the public hospital motor, and not one working, them have to refer them to. So what is the difference between the private hospital and the government hospital? They don't get money for fun it? Or is it that it's so unfortunate that none of these machine at the government hospital not working, you have to send them to private hospital to find 150,000 and the money to pay. And the people can ever buy food. Really know, Mr. Prime Minister?
I get to understand your machine will deal with your eye, do certain things to your eye don't public. That outer arrangement that now work out to.
I remember somebody to come down to do some surgery motor. And them could have do surgery because the air condition in the room now. Some motor, a hospital where citizens work and build this country. Them not run, go far and go build far. These people are patriotic people here, and not even the health care. You can hard to find out what these people need and put in place. And we can't give an account all now $1 to the $3 trillion. All now the Prime Minister can't talk about it. Now the Ministry of Finance, and we don't have machine to save.
What kind of machine? What kind of machine you talk about? What the machine name?
I think I think the machine, the scan, the brain scan.
Okay, because they have a machine down there. They have a machine down there where you used to deal, where them call it laser in your eye. It kind of
that do the surgery.
Help you to see better how you do it. And it now work.
Well, you have the one where do the brain scan, and then you have the one where
that
do
now
the
work either. That now work
either. Motor, I listen to it to the past. 3 months down one, that one hospital. Them wait for the people and to do a test. And they do it motor. Not even one.
You have to get private doctor now and pay a whole heap of money.
When the people do have it motor, the food them alone, I kill people. Say last on the TV, the motor is a youth named Brian, and some police, I give some people food, some care package, over poor my motor. When you see the senior people in the bed motor, your stomach sick, the people them look like tread. I mean, I say them, where the MP there can do this work and know the people them constituency will know the need of these senior people, not one. Motor, you have one, we know on yourself for much years, I never seen yet, but big poster up and man. Why is it that these guys represent the year and you don't see them motor and the Prime Minister and opposition leader just mouth sign and can't order them MP for find the need of the people, go and mix and mingle the people. All these guys so wicked and selfish, man. And just money and them almighty motor. When them are dead left, call them name politician motor. Long life here. Big up yourself, farm.
Blessed man. Give time.
A long time, man. Yeah, man.
You know him?
Alright, you know what, sir? We don't really know him, Muta.
Okay, alright.
But it's a man where me and him share, you know?
Okay.
The most from him, Jerry back in a Jerry days.
Oh, ideas and thing.
Yeah, but Muta, if I ask you, Jerry alright?
Yeah, man. I mean, of course.
Yeah, cause
you know him on radio?
Yeah.
No, well, I know the radio make him be alright.
No, that's what I want. You know, but you know, say the radio man, so. But
yeah, man, I'm alright, man. I'm alright.
Yeah, because through me now out of the country and things.
Yeah, I'm alright, sometimes.
Yeah, Muta, I see where Trump would start off the next war now with Iran.
Yeah.
Trump, them dangerous thing, man.
You know what I'm saying? If the Iranian them assassinate him, I give orders to blow up the whole country.
Yeah.
You never hear that? You didn't hear that?
No, we don't have to hear that. We can't see that. We must do that.
Them say any of the Iranian them assassinate him, he might give the order for them to just blow up the whole country, kill everybody.
The nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Dangerous, but I mean, tell you, all the man that, Virgin. You know, I'm going to take time and look on that, you know, come like people like wicked leader, you know. I don't know. You know? Because come like most of the leader them wicked, you know. And people just like them, you know.
Well, that's him with bad man. Most girls love bad man, you know.
You see.
Love rude boy. Most of the girls them love rude boy.
Yeah, come in general, when they look on, so with Trump now, the Islamic Republic, you see? Iran.
Yeah.
So them just run them thing different, you know. But when you look on even Saudi Arabia, how them deal with Oman, and it's not a problem to America, because America get money from them.
Iranian deal with them same way, you know. Remember them?
Yeah. But I'm not sure say. Come like at the same pattern.
Yeah, the Muslims same way, Islamic.
But I don't know why them take such a set on Iran.
Oh, because them know why Iran build nuclear bomb. Iran enrich them uranium, you know, and them don't want that happen right there, so. You know, see, them Israel supposed to have them capabilities there. Them no want Iran and no country around there, so have no nuclear weapon. Except
Israel is the next state for understanding. It's a United States that for understanding.
Yeah. It's a little small America.
Yeah, it's a little small America around there. So it's like, but you see, me a man, me I feel kind of, so when the war is going, I don't really love the war, because war mash up the world.
Well, nobody couldn't love war, man. Nobody couldn't love war.
Because enough people know, say, see, when them start war, see, when the war start, see, it will affect other country. It will affect oil price.
Everything.
It will affect a whole party.
The movement of goods and services.
Movement of goods and service and all them things there. But John Trump, may I tell you, the only thing I say Trump do, is anything when him say I'm going to do him, That means to say if you vote,
halfway, because everything when him say I'm going to do him, if do it halfway.
Him do it halfway, yeah. But him do it. Him still do it, but him do it halfway. Seeing car.
I'm going to build wall and make the Mexican them pay for it.
Well, Mexican never pay for it.
No, a whole heap of things him say. The tariff thing, every time him put up the tariff, he bring it down back. Him put it up on him teeth, so the Chinese them go bow to him. And the Chinese go bow to him just come with an agreement with them, This is after them say, stand up stiff, them now move. Yeah,
but the Chinese them not about to him.
No.
I remember in a motor, when you produce little everything, because the China them produce them food now. One time when we were youth, we used to hear how much people are starving at China and them things. And India. A different thing,
Everything is made in China. Everything.
Made in China. China factory.
Hold on, we're going to take a break and come. Yes, Bridget.
Yeah, man. Not showing no motor, back down in the yard, me I say. More on the youth, them seeing everybody, seeing everyone, seeing just know, say, them nothing make no politician trick them for just, if them a vote, them vote for, them a vote for. Don't make no politician run in the head. See, because when it comes to the slope, see, if a politician make you and a man who live in your area or your family or whatever, seeing it reach a level where you're on them in affliction, when the politician winning, him no business. See, so one of us know say, if you don't have a vote, you don't go vote for who you want to vote for. See? And don't make no politician telling us to protest or telling us for this, telling us for that. See? Because when you creating an enemy, see, it's a long enemy that, where a man kill him grandfather, the man they kill him father, the man they kill him father. See, now the same politician war break out to them Pax war, we see a go on, But the politician then bring the gun and the man them, you understand? See, because not for the youth them don't know them things there, See, as for the gun them, may I say, when I time hear the security minister did say, 200 gonna come in every month.
Per month. But about 4 years ago, him said that, 5 years ago.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 years ago. So that means that them supposed to have an idea.
And them are the first time I go bring in first time I ever catch 200 hard gun there.
Them never catch
after so much years.
But them not catch.
Oh gosh, man.
Oh gosh, man. See? So, that means them know say that I go on long time.
Yeah.
So we want you them to know say a 15 years for a gun now. See? 15. Just for a gun murder nobody with it, See, just a gun.
But not only that, if them see with a gun, them not, 15 years, they might shoot to kill you.
Well, we wouldn't even go there, see, because we see that happen already, front out. Don't? See, so you should just looking on yourself, see, and see if them people are really like, or with them, if them are do nothing, seeing so or benefit, seeing so must know, say, seeing this gun business and this thing go on and try to make people afraid of all them things. See, it's not really worth it. See, because afraid people want when they go on and go on. Afraid they want people. That's the Trinidad. Trinidad to them all every household are going to know.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Trinidad say every household, them for us name who are the fit one, see, to get the license gun in the household, because if a man knows say you have a gun, see, him not come in your house so easy now. See, in kind of know which angle, see, you have to take him from where you are seeing from, versus if you have all the camera and everything. See, so, you know, Trinidad knows say that man go do. See, and I kind of see still a waste. I see it work out a waste still, because, you know, if you have to walk up and down with your gun, see, your gun down your yard, see, and if every household have a yard, if every household have a gun, see, every household equal, see, it's just like a man have a machete over there, and you draw a machete. The man you know come close, kind of want to get chopped. The man you know want, and they understand. All right, for chop to chop, see, so, you know, something like that, then to create them and so.
And give everybody a gun.
And yeah, them not get everybody. Give every household a gun. Every household, like you respond to your house.
And that mean every household means everybody who have a house, they give him a gun.
They give him a gun.
I will if a gun that still
yeah, man,
in a certain area.
Yeah, well, man, then if some man have a 3-4 car park on the road. And
yeah, but car are different from gun though.
No, they say why a man can't buy them guns. If a man have yeah, you understand? I remember say a Glock just value about 300,000 or so. Let's the type of Glock. You understand? See, make the thing equal up. See?
Yeah, okay.
Cause you know, politicians, them always have vote for people around them, you know. Them carry all 5 stations sometime, you know, when them are moving up. And no policemen in 1 year, right now. You see it, so, you know, you have to look on a level there too.
Okay.
See? Yeah, man, the next thing we want you play, I don't know if you remember you used to play them still.
Wow.
You remember when the Prime Minister signing the 3 main law? Yeah, the 3 main law when him is go instill, when him do legislate. Fixed election date.
And me used to play it?
Yeah, man, you play it one at a time, man.
Okay.
Fixed election date.
Yeah.
Impeachment. See, and 2 term. 2 term to every Prime Minister. Yeah. See,
like America.
Like America. See, in it said that, you know.
Yeah.
See, because that's why I need a move.
When I go for 3rd term, you know.
When I go, yeah, so that means say, and watch me now, can you imagine, Muta? You get the post to run IRA, see? So when I keep a party or when I keep a send also, and you invite your family, then your daughter and everybody, and you give a speech, and you say, all right, I gotta make IRA be the best, and what you going to do and where but the 3 main things what you going to do for IRA, see? You have to make sure IRA have a fixed election date. You have to make sure IRA have 2 terms where you Mutabaruka no want more than 2 terms.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure IRA have impeachment to work as an work with IRA. Seeing IRA deal with corruption, seeing they run them out. Seeing and you're saying your first 100 days, you know, and you do more than 1,000 days.
Yeah.
Seeing not
so
1
like
term.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, not 1 term, 2 term. And you don't, not even talk about them.
No, that no use again, man. I'm going to go for 3rd term.
Yeah.
So, that.
You know, so when you...
He want to beat out Patterson, you know. He must have the longest Prime Minister ever stay in a power, you know.
Yeah, but if you notice, you know, even in a Patterson, you know, one at a time, you know, Patterson thing get boring, you know, in the last day, you know. Because you know, you see when them in a power salon motor, them include them friend and them cronies, them, you know. So certain work if you done all of the government can't done because a man don't know say them connected already. See?
Nepotism, them call it.
Yeah, nepotism, yeah. See? So if you that's a part of like a dictator, you know. See? Because when I look in our country when a dictator talk, you know, nobody can say nothing, you know. See? So that's why me no believe in that them are doing a third term. See? I want to say if I'm me alone a one term them do too.
Okay.
You don't know any one of them seeing PMP or GLP. If I'm me alone a one term, them do. See? But if say them do, them might do something and them might do something good. They give them a second term. See?
Well, what decide if them might do something good? Because one man I go say might do it good and one man I say might do it bad. Like now.
No, well, we the people see that I will decide that, you know.
You know that may I say, so the people them out there, some people I say him forget the next term, and some people I say him not forget the next term. So how you vote that in? I vote for the president.
All right, watch me now. Mota. I go to some hospital. I go to the hospital go look for some sick and all them things more time, you know. I tell you, I feel it, you know. How the hospital them stay, you know.
Yeah.
See? And me know say you a man to drive. See? I'm a drive, you think a little tire my bus. Joe that hey, you see some patrol uptown. I never see them thing there go on uptown.
Yeah, look down in the if you see a trailer truck down there.
Yeah. See? I tell you. And I'm an also boy, you know. Yeah, this election year, you know, I'm on jump.
Fix everything.
If you come on my place, see, I'm in cook, I'm in a gear none. See, and one day you come, you see me cook, and I give you a big bowl and plus juice, carrot juice and all them things. You do not appreciate the situation, and I want if I pipe more pipe.
One if we are going. That are going now, man.
Yeah, so I'm tricking. That's why I tell the people, I say, don't make them trick on. Do what you do.
Yeah, we have to move now, though. We have to move.
Yeah, man, anyway, bless you.
Yeah, man, give thanks, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the cut. Hey, oh, well, we got a car, look like it gone. Yeah. But like the response, so the people might respond to the program.
Mutabaruka.
Yes, sir.
You there?
Long time I hear you, man.
I'm enough time I there, I listen, man.
You just listen?
Yeah.
Yeah, true, but sometimes I listen and talk.
Yeah, real. What I say?
I say, you say, you call?
Alright. You see, the man are the ones them, are the two of them who pay people, who kill people with a high, so-called high society or low society. They tell them to stop, you know. Because when for them time coming to work on them. Because things they don't look like next time, they don't give to the next person because I say things about them to you. Because so the surrounding I speak like that, and I show them I behave like that. So they need to organize this thing now and know so what you know. Look here, I go on the work, you can't solve the problem, you know. Because you can't kill out all the people them all the while. But we know the love can't stop everything. Within our sight and within our strength and what we see in our earth going right now. So all the man them where say them a ruler and them steal and grab and kill, they say them have power. A weakness that. When you're strong, you can't kill people, you can't disadvantage people, you can't abuse people. Because the power where you look for within domination over people, that's not power, that's a weakness. Because we know say what in the darkness have to come out in our life, sometimes, somehow. So, it's only the truth and right about take over in this time and every time. No matter how long it stays, man. All the people that do them things and say them a hide, them come on radio and TV and chat off them mouth and when them know say a film system across all these things on earth amongst people and cause people to divide and rule themselves. Them need to stop it now. Them need to realize and know say what's up. You can't go too far because I'll come in your house too. No matter what you do, because you do it. And every time you do something, the reaction is there, 1 and 2, and whoever do it. So we need to just know them and see them and to say, watch out. Not for them go full now till it come to them mouth and them still a fight with stay in the system like that. And don't want to give the people them a chance to produce themselves and for a better world and a better start people. So we think more or less, say, watch out. You know, man, just come clean now, man. Just power up clean. And don't be afraid and don't be ashamed with pride and shame. Because right now, that's a deal with the nation right now, shame and pride, you know. Everyone talk about who I'm going to say about me and where this I'm going to say about me, because when we see people, we have to just get in our oneness, no one knows what's up. It's time to stop all the foolishness. Because we are living on earth right now, you know. I want to come low distance with them from one another, you know. And that's not supposed to go on. Because right now, me look, I see some sketch in an Asian Abyssinia Kush. And peer war, you know. And all of them war the way I see across to the European and the British colonial system across them war that they are going in our land, you know. So we have to say, it's our tell on them, you know. Because it's our spill over. And when it take us the war must have to done. No matter how much ammunition they want to make or they want to do this, still ammunition will make the use for them, you know. And them can't escape the judgment because they have it and them are use it. So when them see come enough of them house, so if you don't catch them, it'll catch them children, said like what them do it. Because we need to just know and get to ourselves within time and just know so watch out. The war don't make sense, man. Because you can't chill out all the people all the while. Sometimes we have to know to see the people them and sit to watch out. Happiness we are seek, man. If you not seek happiness, you have to get back. Go ahead. We don't want to see you know. And we're not busy, we don't want to be how much house we don't have, how much car, how much this we don't have, how much material we don't have. That's a more tormentation. We don't have people that starve and can't get them in tune. We know so what's up. Material things, they have to all away. A machine make that.
Yeah.
So we need to realize that.
Your message is heard. Your message is heard. We're going to move with somebody else attack.
Yeah, man. Right? So, yeah, man. It's all in the way people live, man.
Yeah.
Make things happen to them.
All right, sir.
It
is everywhere.
Yeah.
It is everywhere. We need it. We want it. We even find it in places where we wouldn't expect it. When researchers examined the stomach of a beached sperm whale in 2012, they found 30 square meters of tarpaulin, a 4.5 meter long hose, a 9 meter long plastic rope, and 2 flower pots. How is this possible? On average, a European uses and disposes of more than 100 kilograms of plastic per year. A large part of plastic waste ends up on huge landfills or in the sea. Today, more than 100 million tons of plastic is drifting around the oceans. Due to particular currents in the Pacific Ocean, a new continent has been born. A mass of plastic waste the size of Europe. In some areas of the oceans, there is up to 60 times as much plastic as there is plankton. Because plastic does not rot, it lasts up to 500 years. Through exposure to sun,
a major religion. Now you need to realize the contributions that have been made to society, to civilization, by brown-eyed people, by people of color. I'm talking about people of color here, folks. And most of us are not aware of those things because we live in a racist society and because we are educated by a racist school system that only teaches us about white contributions. And that's a fact. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. If we would start telling the truth in schools, we would not have racism. We could cure racism in this country. Somebody said, I heard somebody... I heard somebody in the green room say that racism is inbred. No, it is not. Racism is not part of the human condition. Racism is a learned response. You have to be taught to be a racist. You are not born racist. You are born into a racist society. And like anything else, if you can learn it, you can unlearn it. But people like this choose not to unlearn it because they're afraid they will lose power if they share it with other people. We are afraid of sharing power. That's what it's all about. That's the reason men won't share power with women, because they are afraid they will lose power. People, if we would share power, we would empower many people so that we would all be more powerful. What we're dealing here with is mental illness. Racism is mental illness. Racism was defined by the Joint Council on President's Joint Council on Mental Health in Children in 1959 as being the #1 mental health problem among children in the United States. And they didn't say among black children, they said among children.
I agree.
If you judge other people by the color of their skin, by the amount of a chemical in their skin, you have a mental problem. You are not dealing well with reality.
For one, play this. We don't have a time signal there, so okay.
FM really rocking, you know.
All right. Okay, so you have a play now. This.
How do I think the pyramids were built? To be honest, I have no answer to that question. And anybody who tells you that he or she knows how the pyramids were built are not telling the truth, because we don't know. We don't know. The Great Pyramid contains a number of mysteries. The Great Pyramid, first of all, is very big. The Great Pyramid weighs 6 million tons. We can calculate that from its mass. It weighs 6 million tons. Its footprint is 13 acres. It's more than 750 feet along each side. It's 481 feet tall. More than 2.5 million individual blocks of stone were used in its construction. But it's not just big. It's really, really precise. The Great Pyramid is locked in to the cardinal dimensions of our planet. The Great Pyramid is targeted on true north within 3/60ths of a single degree. Now, no modern builder would create a large building and add onto his or her shoulders the additional burden of aligning it to true north within a fraction of a single degree. They just wouldn't get it. They wouldn't understand why it was important to do that. But something drove the builders of the Great Pyramid to go to a very great additional trouble, not only to create this massive, imposing monument, but also to lock it on to true north, and then other things, to incorporate into its dimensions the dimensions of our planet. I don't want to get too numerical or possibly even boring here, but if you take the height of the Great Pyramid and multiply it by 43,200, you get the polar radius of the Earth. And if you measure the base perimeter of the Great Pyramid accurately and multiply that measurement by 43,200, you get the equatorial circumference of the Earth. In other words, for thousands of years, through dark ages when human beings didn't even know they lived on a planet, never mind its dimensions, that monument has encoded and speaks out the dimensions of our planet on a scale of 1 to 43,200. And the scale is not random. The number 43,200 is derived from a key motion of the Earth, which is called the precession of the Earth's axis. The Earth wobbles on its axis very slowly at the rate of 1 degree every 72 years. And 43,200 is a multiple of 72. In fact, I think it's 600 times 72, but I need to double check that. But it's a multiple of 72. Check it out. So they've given us the dimensions of our planet on a scale defined by the planet itself. And that's an incredibly clever thing to do. How on earth did they do it? Where did that knowledge come from? This is why I'm forced to consider the possibility of a lost civilization in the human story. This is a work of almost, but not quite, space-age precision. It contains errors, but they are human errors for sure, but they're very tiny. The great precision, great skill, great craft. Some people will say to you, oh, the Great Pyramid was built by slaves. That is utter bullshit.